So hello everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started since we're right at 2 o'clock here. Obviously there's going to be a few people trickling through, but I'll just go ahead and jump right in. So today we're going to be going over how to promote your holiday sale, which is crazy that I'm having this conversation, obviously with it just being September. With everything this year, I feel like every, month has been super short and super long at the same time. So it's pretty crazy to think that we're, as we're kind of preparing and running into Q4, that we're, trying to have those strategic conversations and really think about, how we can really utilize everything at our fingertips to make sure that we're successful online for Q4. So we're going to be going over just kind of some like high level pieces in terms of my initial thoughts and recommendations for promoting a holiday sale on your current website. So a big thing that I typically recommend my clients to do is to really post really great, like curated content. And what I mean by that is creating content that's specifically tailored to your brand in particular. So for example, what we're going to be going over today is how to do a gift guide. So how to structure that on the site, how to populate those products on the page, and then just some initial recommendations of some other things that you can do to highlight that on the site. So I know that we've had other webinars that have talked about how to drive traffic to your site, different combinations of utilizing organic tactics, like search engine optimization to get people to come through from Google. We've also talked about, paid options through, Facebook and Instagram, as well as pay-per-click. So there's tons of different ways that you can actually drive traffic to the site. We're not going to be focusing too heavily on that today since we've already kind of covered those topics. Again, I really want to highlight things that we can do on the site, have that curated content. That way we can hopefully, start that conversation with people that are looking to purchase with us for the holidays as well. So I have I've got the chat pulled up. I also have the Q&A pulled up. So as I'm walking through things, don't hesitate to pop any questions in there as well. Okay, perfect. All right, so we are going to start by creating a page today. And again, we're going to be going over a gift guide. I recommend if you're going to be creating this on your own. Now, if you were to be working with Punchmark for digital marketing, we have custom templates that are built specifically for gift guides. But today, I'm going to be walking through a very basic standard landing page that you can utilize with the current existing templates and go from there. So I typically like to use the informational page and start with that kind of basic outline first. So let's just do gift guide, create the page. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to work from top down. And again, let me know if you have any questions as I'm working through things. So the first thing I want to do here is to update the banner on the page. I already have uploaded all of my imagery here. So I'm just going to select that. Something kind of simple for the header. I'm also going to be popping in some prior written headlines that I've already created here. Let's see. And it's just going to be a little bit of a work along today. And then highlighting a couple of recommendations. Perfect. All right. So we'll want to get rid of that. We don't need that. And then I only want to keep one of these buttons, so I'm going to select the one that I don't want, delete that. And then I want to update the button here. Let's just say something as simple as shop all gifts. Perfect. All right. So now we get into the fun part. So I just want to do a quick intro blurb for the holidays. Gonna remove all this text because we don't need that. So let's go ahead and center this because I think that looks nice. Perfect. So we've got the banner. We've got our little intro here. We've got a link to shop all gifts, which we can talk about how to create other pages to help support this later. And then we've got our little intro blurb here. So what I want to do next is I want to add a product slider that we can showcase the products that we really want to promote for our holiday sale. So I just want to go to the page level here, and then I just want to drag a new section into the page. Okay. Then I'm going to want to select that, select widget, and I'm going to go over to type and choose. And then I'm going to want to select product slider widget here. All right, so when you first select it, it's just going to show one image, one product image really big. That's obviously not something that we want. So what we're going to want to do is go over under product slider, and we're going to want to update the visible items for the slider. So each of these boxes here is essentially telling you how many products are going to be visible based on the size of the screen. So typically, I like to do 2 for extra small, 3 for small, 3 for medium, and then since we're on desktop, 4 for large. Okay, so you can see now that we've updated that. As we kind of shrink the page, those products on the slider will kind of populate with that and change with that based on the width of the page that they're looking at. So now we have a product widget. And I want to start with breaking it down into gifts for her and gifts for him. I think that that looks really nice and provides a more like streamlined flow versus just having like a product grid page where it's like, here are all the gifts for the holidays for this, for everyone. I feel like it gets a lot of, pretty cluttered. This way you can at least like funnel the user and have curated sections of the site that's tailored specifically to that particular, demographic, whether it's, for female, whether it's for male, whether you want to break it down even farther, you can do that too. Okay. So we updated that, and I'm going to talk a little bit farther on in regards to how to update the types of products that get pulled into the product filter. So if you see over here, there's a drop down with data source and categories. So there are multiple ways that you can populate the products that show up in this slider. We're going to be going over how to actually select how to create product tags for your different products. And we're going to be filtering that way as we kind of go a little farther along. I want to get the kind of the basic structure of the page down first, and then we can, kind of walk through that too. Okay, so I want to go ahead. I don't need that button, so I'm going to get rid of that. All right, so the next thing I want is I want 3 individual columns, and I'm going to pop that down here. So what I did is I went to the page level, I updated the column count to 3, and I just drug that section into here as well. So what I want to do is I want to structure it by gifts under a certain dollar value. So gifts under $100, gift under $500, and then gifts under $1,000, just because I feel like that's typically the rough price range that people are looking for the holidays. It's a little bit more manageable for some people. Obviously, there's going to be a specific demographic that's going to purchase above that, but I'm just trying to kind of tailor it to a large amount of the demographic as well. So you can obviously update this as you would like for your own particular website as well. So what I want to do is go ahead and populate the images that I've chosen here. So again, I've already uploaded them here. So let me scroll through and find them. All right, there's the first one. Let's see, let's go through, do the other ones here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to want to update this to, let's say, gifts under 500. Let's say gifts under, actually that first one was supposed to be 100. So let's go back and update that. And then gifts under 1,000. All right. So I actually want to make these a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go under header style and I'm going to select H5. Do that for all of these here. All right. So I want to get rid of these. We don't need that. So I'll delete that. Let's go over to that. Perfect. And do that for all of these because we just want the link to be from the pages. So we want to get rid of that blurb underneath and that button really quickly. So we'll just tab over the elements, find the one that we don't want that's highlighted. We want to get rid of that. And then we want to get rid of that button. All right. So we've got kind of our basic structure here. We have our product slider that we've built. We have the curated sections for gifts under a certain dollar amount, just because we find that people typically search that way as well. But you could even be as creative as breaking it down into different categories, like bracelets, rings, earrings, things of that nature. I just broke it up this way because I found that most gift guides are kind of tailored under a specific price point. That's typically how people are searching. So something to keep in mind as well. So now that we've got kind of the base level here, what I'm going to want to do is actually duplicate this because we're going to be doing for her and then for him. So we can select section here. Okay, and then we're going to want to go over to section and press duplicate. Okay, so we're going to want to go back to that section that has been duplicated. Let's select it again, and then we want to move it underneath. So we're going to select that down arrow to push it underneath there. Okay. Then we're going to want to do the same thing for this. Select the section, duplicate. Okay. And then same thing. Gonna want to select that section and then drop it down. Great. So now we have a duplicate of both of these sections. We just need to tailor it now specifically for him. So let's go up here. Let's change that title. Okay. And then we're going to update these photos here. Let's see. Let's do quick search. Okay, we want this photo for the cufflinks. I think those are pretty cute. And let's go back here. And find the bracelet. I had the ring. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So one other thing I want to do, just because I feel like these are a lot of sections that have a lot of individual pieces, I'd like to have something that's not as like product centric to kind of break it up a little bit. So what I'm going to want to do is go back to the page section here. We're going to add another section to go in between these pieces that we've built. So let's go ahead. Again, I went to page, selected 2 columns, and I'm just going to drag that in between there. Okay. And then I'm going to update the imagery here. Okay. One for women's jewelry and then one for men's. Let me find that photo. There we go. All righty. So I also feel like I would like to see a button on top of these instead of underneath. So what I'm going to want to do is select the widget and then go to widget type. And then I'm going to do text overlay. Okay, so you see it that it brought all of that text up onto the actual picture. We're going to do the same here. Let's go to widget. Okay, let's tab over to the second widget on that section. Go to choose, text overlay. Okay, so I want to get rid of these other pieces because I just want the button. So I'm gonna delete that, then delete that. So it just leaves the button. So I'm gonna want to have the link text to be maybe shop all women's jewelry, because we're going to select a set amount of products that we're showing, but it might be nice to let everyone look at all of the products that you have available, not just the ones that you've highlighted for your holiday sale. So that's why I feel like it's nice to kind of have the break in the page between the different product sections with the different imagery of the man and the woman, but it's also nice to, again, lead them to some more general content as well. So we can't really see that because it's dark, so I want to change the outline to light. And then let's bump up the size maybe to large. I think that that looks nice. All right. So we're going to go through the same process here. Delete these elements. Okay, select the button. Let's change the text to shop all men's jewelry. Okay. So let's change the size to large and select the outline to light. Looks like the other update we made didn't save to this one. So let's go back and rechange that. Perfect. All right. So we did the banner here. We have the little intro blurb. I feel like it's always nice to have a little bit of intro text going into a page. We've created the product slider. We're going to go over how to populate the actual products in here in a little bit. Then we've selected 3 different boxes here to showcase, different, kind of price points for our products here, which looks really nice. One thing I might want to do is update the padding on the text to the image. I feel like it's kissing it maybe a little bit too much. So what you can do is select the text here. You can go under spacing and then select padding. And then I would maybe just increase the top padding by maybe 10. That way it'll give it a little bit of space. All right. Then we've got our different sections to lead us to the main all women's jewelry page and all men's jewelry page. And then we have done the same for the men's. So now we're at the point, let me update this really quick and do the padding here too. All right. Good to go. So right now, let's select this. Right now, the way that this is being pulled by all jewelry. Let's see. We've got a question here. Stu says, will this be available later? Going a little bit fast. Sure, absolutely. So the recordings are always housed under the education section in SiteManager. So typically it's uploaded either same day or the day after the webinars go up. So you can always access all of the pieces there as well. And that's why we do this. So you can go back, pause, and kind of work along on your side as well. So great question. But yes, you can always access it afterwards in the SiteManager education section. Good question. Okay, so now that we've updated the product slider, okay, and again, we've updated the visible items so that it'll scale based on the size of the page. The data source right now is for all jewelry. So what we're going to want to do is, now that we have the structure of the page, we want to decide, what products we actually want to showcase for each of our individual categories, right? Which products do we want to showcase for her? Which products do we want to showcase for him? So I've already done a little bit of legwork, and I've already gone through and created product tags that will populate in here for you. But I'm going to walk you through how to update this on your own as well. So the best recommendation that I have to, curating these products for the product slider is to look at your site and to make a list of the particular products. I normally do this in either like a Word document, something that I can easily kind of copy and paste. So I'll go through, I'll look at all of the products that I like, and then I will put it in a document that I can easily access. And then I will go into the section where, and I'll go ahead and show you how to access that. You're gonna wanna go under commerce once you have the list of all the products, all of the URLs that you want to go after and that you want to populate in your slider. You're going to want to go under commerce, okay? And then you're going to want to go under jewelry. So I'm going to do a quick example for you guys right now. So this is a product that I want to include under the for her section. Okay, so I've got the URL, and then I want the style number, because that's how we're going to be looking up the product. So I'm going to copy the style number. Okay. And then I'm going to want to go back to SiteManager. And again, I'm under commerce jewelry. Okay. And then I'm going to take that style number and I'm going to paste it into the search function. Okay. And you see it pulled up that product here. So go to edit product. Okay, and then it's going to be under categorization and then product tags. So this is where we're going to be adding a tag to the product, because again, that product widget filters different data sources based on either the category, subcategory, or product tag. So we're going to be discussing product tags obviously today. So I'm going to add the product tag here. So let's just do gift guide women's. Okay, and then press enter. So you see that the product tag was added here to this particular product. Press save product. Success, that's good. Okay, then now that that's updated, and you're going to want to go through that process for all of the products that you want to show in that particular product widget. And you're going to want to make sure that the product tags are all the same. And I'll show you why in a second. So let's go back to, that, that page. Let's see, it was under content, pages. Let's go to gift guide. All right. So select, clicked on the product, not the widget. So got to be careful about that. Okay. So we want to, we've got a question from Noreen. Why do you need to access the URL and not just type in the product number? You don't necessarily need to access the URL. That's just how I keep a list of things. So I always have the URL and I always have the SKU in case I ever need to go back to that, that particular product page. So you just need the SKU when you're creating a list. It's just however you prefer to kind of structure your notes. I like to have the URL in there as well. But just the SKU number is all that you need. Good question. All right. So want to select the product widget and then go under data source. So again, you can do by categories, you can do by brands, you can pull by tags. We're going to be pulling by tags today. So I select tags and then you can see that I've already gone through and created 2 different set of tags. So I created one for women's and I created one for men's. So let's select the one for women's. Beautiful. So you can see that product that we wanted to include in here is being pulled along with others that I also included under that same product tag. It's actually pretty fairly simple. I think the most difficult part for me, I think initially in getting comfortable with this is just making sure that you update when you add that product widget, that you make sure that you update again, the different visible items, because when you first pop it in there, it's just going to be that one really big product. So making sure that you update per the screen size. Again, I think the XS typically 2, the small typically 3, medium typically 3, and then the large, so like the large desktop, I like to have 4. I just think it looks good that way. That's my personal preference, but definitely feel free to play around with kind of how many products you want to actually show. Okay. So I've updated that for her. I've already done the same. Let's do a quick refresh here. Sometimes when you update the product data source, it can get a little skewed while you're working through it. So just do a quick refresh there. So go under, same thing, go under tags. And then go under men's. And there you go. So this is the basic structure of a gift guide. I'm gonna pop this, let's see. I wanted to show you guys in an incognito window. Let me pop this back over. Let's see, I wanted to do, is it this one? Yes, perfect, okay. So this is looking at the page through an incognito window. So again, let's kind of roll through this quickly. So updated the banner, put in, kind of a title for the page. And I didn't include the links to all of these pages because the pages aren't necessarily built, but I think it's nice to do one full page with all of the products that you've put into those different product sliders. I think it's good to be able to send them to a product grid page that has everything kind of together as kind of like a catch-all. So, to put something like that there. A little intro text here, and then again, breaking it down by for women in a product slider. I went through and I just added some products that I thought would look nice here. You're gonna know what you wanna showcase best, particular brands that you wanna showcase, particular sets of products. Maybe you don't wanna put everything together. Maybe again, you wanna break it down by like necklaces or you know, earrings or bracelets, you know, things of that nature. I just kind of, you know, encompassed everything in one, broke down by gifts under a certain price point. I think that that looks really nice. And then, whoop, that did not update for the size. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. We had that as large. Let's save that and let's go back here and do a command refresh. Beautiful. And then again, I like to just send them to the main jewelry page there as well. Updated the section for him, same thing. Gifts under 100, 500, 1,000. So I feel like this is a pretty standard structure for a gift guide. You can get creative with it, like I said, either specific brands, you know, specific types of products that you want to showcase, you know, things of that nature. So definitely feel free to tailor this specifically to you. If you have any questions as you're, you know, structuring this, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. So let's see. We have one more question here. Let's say if you're integrated with Edge and items are sold, will the items be removed as well? I do believe so. I think that everything is pulled. So you can see, let's scroll down here. So you can see like you can, you know, like add an item to your wish list directly through the product widget. As far as I understand, it acts directly like, because it pulls from the product data that we have on the site. So if that item is removed, it would be removed, as far as I understand, from the product slider as well. So that's a good question. So as long as that is updated on the website, it should update on the product widget. Good question. So a couple of other quick things that I wanted to talk about now that we have the basic structure of the product guide built out. Let's go back to my home page here. So just a couple of quick notes that I think is good to always do is to have a corresponding homepage banner. If you're showcasing either a promotion, you've created a product guide that you're really trying to highlight for either a particular season, whether it's Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, you know, a big push promotion that you're running. I think that even though we're talking about the, you know, the actual winter holidays, that this can be tailored to, you know, any kind of peak season or promotion throughout the year. It's always good to have a homepage banner that directs that user back to the main page that you're trying to showcase here, right? So making sure that you're updating this product slide to be reflective of that. I just use the same banner that I used on the product guide. That way the imagery stays the same. I think it looks cleaner that way. So you can do that through, let me actually hop over back to the other window because I am logged in on that one. All right. So let's go back to my home page. So you're going to want to go under in SiteManager, under content, and then home slides. That's how you can add slides. I know that, you know, we have a ton of other resources on how to create a home slide, but just a quick refresher. Again, you would just access it under content, home slides as well. So that's how you can update your homepage banner. Pretty simple in terms of getting it updated. So I just chose that same image, like I said, in the product guide, and then under, so that's under background. So update the image there. And then I went under content and then just created the actual headline here. You can notice that I have this little bracket in here, and I put that in there because it brings the remainder of that kind of headline to the bottom. So it puts a break in the code, so it'll bring it underneath that. I just felt like it looked a little bit better stylized that way. So I guess that's a fun hack, is if you ever want to, you're creating a homepage banner and you want to bring that underneath, you can just do a quick break in that headline and it'll help you there. We have a quick question here. Let's see. Kelly said, where do images for homepage banners come from? It comes from whatever source that you feel like you like to utilize. So we do have a catalog of like images that you can utilize for specific holidays that are already kind of built into the platform. I chose this off of iStock, so you can do either iStock or there's other kind of image sites that you can choose imagery from. I just really thought that this was kind of a pretty kind of clean look, not too busy, but gets the point across image. So I chose that from iStock and I just downloaded it from there and then uploaded that image directly. So if you go under Browse, you can see that there's an image library. So you can either utilize the assets that are already in the platform, or you can just upload your own directly onto your from your website as well. Good question. So going back to content, yeah, so update the headline, and then I just created a button. If you go under buttons, and then just updated that headline there as well for the button. And then you can also, once you have that gift guide complete, you can just link that URL to this button. That way, when they click the homepage banner, it'll just direct them to that gift guide that we just created. Okay. And then one other thing that I wanted to highlight, let's go back here, is actually there's two other things that I wanted to showcase. Okay, I think the next important piece is I also, when I'm showcasing and I'm working with the client to run a particular promotion on their site, I also really like to update their global alert. So if you're looking at my page here, you can see this kind of terracotta, I think it's terracotta, kind of like an orangey, I'm not a designer, kind of like a terracotta color. So you can see that that's kind of highlighted here. So that's what we would call a global alert. And I put some information in particular that's referencing the product guide. So shop our ultimate jewelry Christmas guide, free shipping on orders over 500, or whatever, kind of call to action you want to put in there. You could do like free financing. You could talk about, free shipping, things of that nature. But I think it's nice to always call out, a particular promotion on your global alert. So how you can update that is go back under SiteManager, content, and then it's going to be under announcements. Okay, and this is where you can update that text. So again, that's what's going to show up above your navigation at the top there. I just, thought that this was kind of neat to be able to, reroute that user regardless of where they are on the website back to that gift guide. And you can just, again, I don't have it updated here because we just created that page together, but you would just copy and paste the URL. So for example, we would just go under pages, gift guide, and you would just copy this here. You would just copy that URL and you would put that in here and then press save. That way when people click on that global alert, it'll bring them to that gift guide. Okay. And then one other thing I wanted to highlight, let's go back to, let's see, let's go back to the home page. All right, one other thing that I think looks really nice for promoting, again, either like a promotion or specifically for the holidays, is an in-grid ad. So one that we can kind of show as an example here, I put it under watches so you can see what I'm referencing. So You can see if you scroll down here that I have an in-grid ad. So it's that same imagery from the gift guide. It's the same imagery from the homepage banner. And what I've done is I just did this really quickly in Photoshop. I just popped in the image. I did the correct sizing. So I believe it is 750 pixels by 900. So I just did this in Photoshop. You could do it in other kind of image editing software. And I just, overlaid, some text here talking about the gift guide, shop now. And you can do the same thing here, like you can do for the global alert. You can have it link back to that gift guide. So I'm going to do a super quick overview in how you can utilize in-grid ads as well. And it's just nice because, they're hit with multiple pieces of messaging for this particular promotion that you're running, right? They see it as soon as they hit your home page. They see it regardless of where they go on the site because of the global alert that's showcased here. And then if they're kind of clicking through, specific product pages, categories, they can see it directly in the product grid as well. So it's just having an integrated marketing approach, making sure that you're hitting them from different touch points as well, which is always good for the holidays or again, for any promotion that you're running as well. So how to do an in-grid ad. You're going to want to go back under SiteManager, and it's under, I think it's under commerce. Yes, it is. Go to categories. All right. So I think that, you would just need to know which category you wanted the in-grid ad to show up for, because it's something that you have to go through and add to each individual category. So you could just go to like engagement rings or any of the subcategories, double halo, diamond rings, diamond necklaces. You really have to figure out where you want to showcase this on the site. Maybe you want to showcase it on all categories. I typically like to highlight it on the categories that I know get the most engagement on the site as well. And I typically use that as a guide of where I want to showcase my in-grid ads. Typically. Okay. So once you've selected the category that you want to have that shown under, you can see that there's a section here. Again, we're under commerce categories. An in-grid ad is going to be right here once you've selected that on the left-hand side. Excuse me. Okay, and you can hover over this and it'll pop up and tell you the specific dimensions for the in-grid ad. So again, it's 750 pixels by 900 tall. Okay. And then once you have that, that ad designed, again, whether you do it through Photoshop, whether you do it through another, image editing software, once you have that saved, you just press add new. Okay. And then you go to image upload. And then I already have mine saved here. Just press open. And then similar situation, you can just copy and paste the URL to the page you want to direct them to under page URL. And then display index is going to be where on the product grid that in-grid ad is going to show. So number one, obviously, is going to be like the top of the page. You bump it down a couple, it'll show a little bit lower on the product grid page. I typically don't like it to leave it at one. I typically like to do maybe 3 or 4. I think that looks nice. That way you're not hit in the face, the first time that you are kind of scrolling through that page as well. You get a little bit of products up at the top, and as you're scrolling, you're like, oh, okay, and you see the in-grid ad. I think that's a better flow as well. And then you can change the meta title if you want. That's essentially just going to be the alt tag for that image. So that lets Google know what that image is about. And then you just press add to grid. Okay. And this was under the engagement rings category. So then we can just go back to our home page. Go under engagement rings. should be, oh, maybe it was under a subcategory. But again, you can see what it looks like under, under watches that I've updated prior. Just kind of is tucked into the product grid. Okay. So those are my, excuse me, my initial recommendations when it comes to really promoting a sale online. I think a gift guide is a really great way of tailoring that content because you get to choose what specific products are showing. I think it's done in a really clean and interesting way. You have the ability to lead that user specifically to the types of products you want them to buy. Again, showcasing a brand, particular type of product. Whatever makes sense for you. It's done really well, it's clean, it's intuitive, and it helps the user get to that endpoint. And then showcasing, even more messaging on the site, doing the homepage banner, doing the global alert, as well as the in-grid ad just kind of helps tie everything together as well. And then you can, talk about like a larger strategy of how you want to push this out. Do you promote this on social media? Do you promote this through paid ads, through like Instagram and Facebook, things of that nature? You're already kind of generating traffic naturally, but how can you then boost that? There's a much larger conversation that we can have there, which we will in one of the upcoming webinars, and how to really kind of ramp up your marketing to drive more traffic to your site as we go into Q4. But these are just my initial recommendations. So maybe a little bit of homework for you if you, really want to showcase and, ramp up sales for Q4. Start to figure out what types of products you want to highlight. Maybe start making a list of product SKUs that you want to include. Have that conversation with your team. That way you can start having that strategic conversation now. That way be prepared to hit the ground running for Q4 as well. So let's see, we've got one question. Let's see, Miss Very Beginning was with a customer. Good problem to have. Let's see, will this be in replay because I missed how you created the gift guide? Sure thing. So all of our webinars are recorded and included on the education section of SiteManager. So you can always access it that way. Typically, it's uploaded either same day or the day after the recording. So you should be able to access it, if not this afternoon, sometime tomorrow, I would think. Good question. Let's see, one other question here from Noreen. Can we add that global alert header ourselves? Yes, so just another quick reminder, Noreen, we can kind of walk through that briefly. So go under content. Oops, let me move my chat box out of the way. Go under content and it's under announcements. You just select that. And then you just add everything here. You can update the announcement text, and then you can include the link that you want the global alert to go to, and then you just press save and you're good to go. Obviously make sure that the publish date is updated. So publish date, like when you want the global alert to show as well. So something to keep in mind, but all of this you have access to update on your own, again, under content announcements. Good question. Well, I think that is it. As always, I appreciate your time. I really enjoyed kind of walking through this today. I think, utilizing these tactics is really a great way to showcase, your best products online, and helps really move that user to, the end goal, which either is to purchase online directly from you or, to come in store, hopefully, and make that purchase as well. Because, obviously, there's going to be multiple touch points for that user to get familiar with your brand in the long run. So hopefully this is another great touch point that they have. Either they make that purchase on your site again, or they come in store as well. As always, you can reach out to me if you have any questions as you're working through this. You can reach me at Katie, Katie @punchmark.com. You can also comment or leave a post on the Punchmark community page on Facebook. That's something that we also monitor as well if you ever have any other questions too. Okay. All right, guys, well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for running through this, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.